I spent years living all the way in the box, afraid to step out, afraid to truly grab hold of my dream. And now I am breaking through, and I invite you to join me.
Your breakthrough starts now. Coming up on today's show, get ready to be inspired and transformed with our featured guests. Find out what's trending and get advice on life's daily challenges with Erica's top tips of the day. All of this and so much more coming up. So stay tuned. This is your one-stop shop for inspiration. The Erica Latrice Show. And now, here's your host, Erica.
Hello and welcome to the Erica Latrice Show. This is your one-stop shop for inspiration. And today, if you are in the U.S. and you know today or yesterday was election day, there's a lot of emotions that people are feeling, just quite a bit going on. And I'm talking about the complete opposite of that. What I'll be talking about today is how to make it count. You have come too far to give up. And truly, my goal is that this show is your midday motivation. If you have been looking for some encouragement, if you've been looking for a sign, a reminder for you to keep going, you just landed in the right place. So today's show is going to be so good because I have mixed about 10, exactly 10 reminders for you today. If you have ever felt like giving up, if you just need that extra push, if you're wondering, is it worth it? My answer to you is absolutely yes, it's worth it. And I'm going to share with you 10 reminders today as to why it's worth it. It's time to make it count. You have come too far to give up, to quit, or to think it's a coincidence that you have the goals that you have. So that's what I'm talking about today. I'm going to take a short break. And when I come back, I'm breaking down those 10 reminders. And I just want to shout out my sponsor for today is Dr. Sharita Weatherspoon. Y'all hear me talking about this because it's time to go and get your copy of Love Letters to My Girls. More than 100 authors came together, Black women, to encourage, to inspire, to help others to step out and learn from their stories. So that is Love Letters to My Girls. I'm going to take a short break. And when I come back, I'm jumping right in to 10 things that you can do, 10 reminders for you today to make it count. Now, if you're watching live, join the conversation. Per usual, I do have a giveaway. It is a 21-day program for any of you that are looking to get more focused. And all you got to do is comment. You don't have to do anything extra. Comment, tell a friend, tag a friend, share it, and that's it. I'll be right back. Birthed out of an idea for her own daughter, Dr. Sharita's vision has now turned into a movement. This wasn't just for her daughter. It was for other sisters and daughters around the world. The Love Letters to My Girls anthology is a book by Black women and girls, a collaboration of more than 100 women coming together to write letters to inspire, uplift, motivate, and empower the sisterhood. These stories bring you lessons and healing for those worn by their experiences as a Black woman in this world. Get your copy at loveletterstomygirls.com.
Get ready for all new episodes of the Erica Latrice Show. You can join me weekdays at 2 o'clock Eastern across social media at Erica Empowers. That's Erica spelled like America. If you have a message that you want to share on the show, email us right now at info@ericalatrice.com or visit online at ericalatrice.com/be on the show.
All right, welcome back. So I'm jumping straight into number one. Now I'm talking today about how to make it count, because if ever there was a time to make it count, it's right now. There's no shortage of people wanting to put what's important to them on your plate. There's no shortage of people having other ideas for you to achieve. And there's no shortage of people that probably are even telling you that what you have a desire to do is out of reach. So number one, I want you to start with this. What's important to you? There is a book that I read, and it's probably one of my favorite books. It's called The E-Myth. I'm always giving book recommendations. I need to start a book club. But if you've read The E-Myth, let me know. But in this book, it talks about your primary aim. Before anyone, the concept of the book is the reason why most businesses fail in less than 5 years of starting. So if you are an entrepreneur or visionary, lean a bit closer to what I'm about to talk about. But what the book goes into, and I've seen this in many ways, is your primary aim. Before you start talking about income goals, before you start talking about client profiles, before you start talking about marketing and ads and all of these things, it's so important that we understand what's our primary aim in life. What is it that you're purposed to fulfill? What is your overall goal? What's important to you? Because if you don't get clear on what's important to you, the price that you're going to pay for many of these things, you cannot get back. You can't get back. And I remember so clearly many times where I've heard people that are seemingly successful. They have reached amazing heights. They have shown up and just done amazing things. And many of them look back on moments in their life with regret because they didn't spend enough time with their children, or they didn't make a priority of their family, or they lost someone that meant so much to them and they had that person on the back burner, or they put off to the side things that were important to them. And I don't want that to be you. I don't want that to be me. That will not be us. So the first thing that I would encourage you to do is to think about what's most important to you. Now, I do have an exercise that I do. In fact, if you want access to this, I have an entire inner circle that I will share with you. But with this exercise, it's about writing the vision. It's about getting clear on what that overall vision is. So you will think about those things. If it's 100 years out from now and you're sitting in a rocking chair and you're just looking back and saying, this has been a life well spent. I have done everything that I was meant to do. I have done everything that was important to me. What would your life look like? And then you will backtrack that entire thing so that every day that you're showing up, you're not just showing up because someone said show up. You're not just going to a job because someone said get a good job. You're not just doing these things because it's mundane, because life is too short. Life is too short to waste it doing those things and being around those people and spending your time with stuff that is simply not important. And no one can determine for you what's important for you but you. So think about that really quick. I'm trying not to get too preachy, but I might, because if you are watching this today, if you're watching today's show, if you've watched any of my shows, I feel like it is go time for you. And I say that a lot, but I mean it. We don't have time to sit here and play and tiptoe and think about life and not do those things. It's time to make it happen. So number 2, what you do each day is what you're doing with your life. Now, I find this to be interesting because I know a lot of times we can be in a place where we feel like we have all the time in the world. And so it's like, I'll do all these things that don't matter to me because one day, someday, I'm going to pull it together and do it. And welcome to everyone that is watching our live audience. Comment, share, tell a friend. But we think about these things and we feel like in some arbitrary date, that's when we're going to get it done. But I'm telling you right now, if you can start thinking about every single day, and I heard the term masterpiece days. If every day was your masterpiece, if every day was an opportunity for you to wake up and pour yourself completely out into what matters, what would you do with your day? Because when we look back 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, if you're lucky or blessed, 80 years from now, what is it that you're going to reflect on that mattered to you the most? That's what you want to spend your days with. Time is ever changing. The only thing that is consistent is change. So you want to make sure that you are doing with each day what you hope to do with your lifetime. So I'm going to use an example because I was working a full-time job, and I tell y'all my entire life, but I was working a full-time job, and I remember being in that job. And at the time, it was great. It was great to have income. It was great to be able to, eat, and for my kids to have food. But I knew that it wasn't what I wanted to do fully. I could not do this right now. I couldn't do this show. I couldn't support the women that I support. I couldn't travel the way that I travel now and do events and things. None of us can really travel now, but I couldn't as long as I was in that job. And so I held on to it as long as I could. And I remember talking to a friend and she was like, what are you waiting for? And that sounds probably like really motivational. But the truth is, at that time, I was the youngest that I was ever going to be for the rest of my life. So unless I was waiting to turn 85 and then finally have an aha moment, I ask you the same question. What are you waiting for? If right now you don't have everything available to you, there is still something that's going to get you one step closer. So for me, I started having to ask myself the question, why haven't I left this job yet? So that's the second thing that I really want you to think about. Why haven't you done it yet? Whatever your answer is to that question, that's the only thing standing between you and seeing it happen. So if my answer was, well, why haven't I yet? Well, I want to make sure I don't go hungry next month, or I want to make sure that I can pay my bills. Okay, well, your answer is start saving, start figuring out what can you do to position yourself so that you can do it. And I will tell you, for me, I wanted to have all those things done, but when you start taking leaps of faith, I promise you, I feel like God will meet you right there, and stuff that you thought was going to take 6 months, 10 years, 20 years, you can see happen in such a short time when you take that leap. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. If every day was your masterpiece. Yes. So I want you to think about that. That's number 2. What you do with each day is what you do with your life. So think about that. I'm going to take a super short break. I just want to shout out our sponsor, Crystal, who is the founder of the Can't Break Me Retreat. Y'all, I get excited because I love highlighting people, if you can't tell. So if you are a business owner, if you're a service provider, or if you have something that our audience can benefit from, feel free to message me and I'll let you know about our featured packages for sponsors. It includes getting your commercial produced as well. So thank you to Crystal. I'm going to take a short break. When I come back, I have 8 more things to talk to you about. So don't go anywhere. As women, we sometimes tie our validation to outside sources. But when we realize that we're already powerful and great, just as we are, shifts happen. Understanding this will begin attracting everything that God has for you. The Can't Break Me Retreat will put the power back in your hands by giving you clarity, freedom to step away and recharge, and ultimately equipping you to fill others up, because you will no longer pour out from an empty space. You can make the ultimate investment in yourself by reserving your space at can'tbreakmeretreat.com. All right, welcome back. All right, so we're jumping back in. I was at number 2. Number 3, this one, man, the first time I heard this concept, I didn't believe it. You become who you spend your time with. And this is a story that I've shared so many times because it's the most eye-opening evidence of this to me. So when I was in college, I remember a dean telling us that whoever you spend the most amount of your time with, your GPA will be within 1/10 of a point of that person. And I thought it was something, I was like, she's trying to be scientific or something, but that doesn't even make sense. And sure enough, at the end of the first semester, me and my closest friends were all on academic probation together within 1/10 of a point. And the concept behind that is, who you spend your time with is evidence of what's important to you. So if you're spending time with people that have no vision, if you're spending time with people that have vision, if you're spending time with people that always complain, if you're spending time with people that never complain, I'm telling you, you become the people that you spend your time with. This concept is so important because one of the most difficult things when it comes to stepping out, when it comes to fulfilling our purpose and showing up, is letting people go that don't need to be around you. There are people that may be toxic to you. There are times where people have walked away. I'll speak for myself. People have walked away from me and I just thought, no, come back, don't leave, right? But what you'll find is that the more you start shifting, the more you start stepping out, when you're called to something incredible, your circle can't help but change. And that is true in both senses. Your circle will change as you change. So whether it's your existing circle and they start changing with you, or your circle literally changes, it has to happen. So if you were to think about this too, if you were into fitness, I always use fitness as an example because it's not my expertise. So I don't have to be perfect with it. But if you were someone starting to get in shape and you're working, let's say full time, whether it's in your business or it's in your vocation, or maybe you're working from home as a parent, take care of your children. So you only have a few hours each evening to allocate somewhere else. If you're into fitness, I can guarantee you, someone that does not have fitness as a priority, they're going to find it difficult to spend time with you. Because if they're not into going to the gym, if they're not into going running, if they're not into doing all of these things, when will they see you? They won't. And so sometimes we can overcomplicate this and think we have to start calling up our friends that are toxic, or reaching out to family members that hurt our feelings or drain us. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is line up with who you have been called to be. That masterpiece, that best version of you, who God has created you to be. When you become that person, the natural result is that your circle is going to change. If you're not about certain things, You're never going to be comfortable. And honestly, you're not going to be around people that aren't about those same things. So number 3, when we're talking about making it count, you have come too far. You cannot afford to put your purpose, your vision, your calling into the hands of any old person. It is so important and it's so imperative that you aren't that person either that pulls you back and brings you down. So think about that. And I want you to think about this as well. No one will go harder for your dreams than you. No one. And so as we're thinking about our circle, y'all, I'm laying out these 10 things because I really feel like as you're thinking about these things, sometimes we all just need that moment. It's not, you don't have to feel like you have to run on full and never get filled back up. No one would run a car and just never put gas back in it. And that is why I do this show. That's why I show up midday for some motivation, because we have to get filled up. And number 4, understanding this is that no one's going to go harder for you than you. So I can hype you up all day. I have the amazing privilege. I get to work with women from all walks, like powerhouse women, but I don't care how excited I am about their goals and their vision. I can't go harder for their goals than they do. No one can. So once you identify what's important to you, think about, how can I max out? How can I take care of this? It's almost like if you were given a Christmas gift or whatever gift, birthday or anything, and you received that gift and you just took a hammer and beat it and destroyed it. None of us would do that. Most people wouldn't do that. But that's exactly what we do when we don't go hard for what we have, when we're waiting for permission from someone else, when we need someone else to tell us that gift is acceptable, or we need someone else to tell us that what we're doing makes sense. I'm telling you right now, you are not watching this by coincidence. If you are, it is time for you to take care of everything that's in your hands. And that's everything. I'm not just talking about goals. If you don't make something a priority, something else will become a priority. I had to start being intentional about making family time a priority, making health and wellness a priority, making my spiritual walk a priority. We have to make those things, which we said on number 1, that are important to us, a priority. Because if you don't, trust and believe, something else will slide in that time slide so quickly if we don't get clear on what matters. So that is number 4. No one's going to go harder. Now, this is what I really, really want you to think about, because sometimes we don't show up. Sometimes we don't go hard because we feel like, what if I offend people? Or what if people, what if they're not, it makes them uncomfortable? When I think about going live, like I do now every day, pretty much, what if someone's tired of me going live? What if, whatever, insert whatever your what if may be. If it causes you're making someone else comfortable, it's to the detriment of your own success, your own strength, your own power, your own showing up, please tell that person bye. Please tell that opportunity bye, because you're never going to be able to fully show up as what matters. And what matters more than anyone else's opinion is you. You have to live with you for the rest of your life. So if you are harming yourself and canceling out what's important to you, or playing small on those things that matter to you to make someone else feel comfortable, that person can walk away at any time. You can never walk away from you. You can't. So please keep yourself as a priority, and think about that. If making someone else comfortable is to your detriment, it will never be worth it. So please go out, be amazing, show up without apology, be confident in it, and do not apologize and play small for anyone, because what you have for the right people, I'm telling you, for the right people, it's not a coincidence. So I'm going to take just a short break. And when I come back, I'm breaking down the final 5. We're in the final 5 for today's show. And these are just 5 reminders, 5 lessons that you can use when it comes to making each day count, making it count, and showing up. So I'll be right back. Let your light shine at the upcoming From Purpose to Profit Virtual Summit. This event is going to help you uncover your calling and create a purpose-driven business, hosted by Clestine, the Purpose Coach. With more than 20 templates and 28 speakers for 14 days, you will receive more than $4,000 worth of resources. God has a plan for you, so get ready for your divine destiny. Register today at FromPurposeToProfit.com.
If you're watching this, so are your potential clients. I'm excited to announce an all-new season of the Erica Latrice Show. It's coming up right now, and we're looking for featured guests as well as sponsors. If you want to be a success supporter of this show, connect with our team right now by emailing info@ericalatrice.com to get more information or just support the mission of Be Inspired, to empower and inspire people all around the world with a message of hope and encouragement. Our mission is to bring you uplifting news and talk to encourage and share a platform for those who have a powerful message and looking for a place to share it. If you want to partner with the Erica Latrice Show, you can do so by emailing info@ericalatrice.com or visit ericalatrice.com/sponsor so that you can be a success supporter of this inspirational movement.
Yes, welcome back. So I'm jumping into number 6. These are our final 5 reminders. You must like you. This one is so important because I was thinking about this recently. Reading this book, again, another book recommendation. I've been talking about the compound effect, but in this book, it talks about becoming what you desire. Instead of feeling like I need to set these goals, I need to list out all these things, and now I need to spend my life tackling it. How can you become the person that is ready to receive these things? And when we think about liking ourselves, a lot of times we can put all of our energy on these external things. This job must have these qualities. That my spouse must have these qualities. So-and-so must have these qualities. My business must have these qualities. But how often do we look within? Who do I need to become? How can I love myself? How can I love who I've been created to be? How can I show actions to show that? And show up each day in it. So number 6, I really want you to think about this today. How do you feel about you? When you're looking at these external things, are you looking at these titles or these opportunities or these goals or these visions to make yourself more valuable? Are you doing that? Because when we really think about it, you don't need another thing to be valuable. You are absolutely uniquely, fearfully, incredibly made exactly how you are, whether you have a spouse or don't, whether you have the business or you don't, whether you have all of the accolades or you don't. But if we don't understand that, we can find ourselves chasing all of these things for validation. And so my number 6 reminder for you today, as much as I love goals and I will talk about goals all day and I love setting goals, getting back to the core of who you have been created to be is far more important than any achievement that you can make. Because as we know, throughout life, things will change. What makes you feel amazing today, the teams that you have around you, the people in your corner may not be the same people a year from now or a month from now or 10 years from now. So we have to make sure that our validation is not in the hands of anything else other than what I would say our creator, God, period, point blank, period. So if you needed someone today to remind you that you are amazing, you are incredible, you are powerful, you are validated as is, not that you need me to validate, but I'm validating that to you today. You must like you. You must love who you are because there is nothing outside of you that's going to make you more important. And now I want to jump to number 7 because y'all, when I started thinking about these things, and I would encourage you to go back, write them down and just look at this each day, because these are the things that will help you to keep going. My next thing that I want you to think about is your actions. Do your actions match your desires? Do your actions match your desires? And shout out to Darlene, to Kim, to Renewed Haven, and all those who are watching live. Do your actions match your desires? Now, when we think about this, we can say all day, we can say, you know, I have a goal to do this, or I want something else to happen. But when I was talking about becoming the person that receives that, it's in the daily actions that you will start to see these things unfold. And what I want you to really think about, as we talked about, like setting up your day, is never doing that to the detriment of what's most important. And if you're not careful, the actions that you take, again, everyone is willing to throw stuff on your plate, whether you want it or not. So if you're not clear and careful on what's important, you will find yourself being overwhelmed by actions that have nothing to do with those desires that you said are important to you. So if you're burning the candle on both ends, if you're never getting any sleep, if you're grinding so hard that those who you love, those who you said are important, never get to see you, it's so important that we make sure our actions match what we say is important. So that is my number 7. And I'm going to slide on down to number 8. This is another favorite. I hope it's a fan favorite. I feel like I connect with people that believe this a lot. Becoming a go-giver. I'm so intentional about this because I used to think so much, when I get to this point or when I get to that point, that's when I'm going to give back. That's when I'm going to help others. That's when I'm going to fill in the blank. But what I learned is what you have today is what's in your hands. And what you have in your hands is what's going to open the doors to everything else down the line. So ask yourself, even if you don't have the millions to give away, do you have time? Do you have a resource? Can you be a blessing to someone else? When you shift your mindset to think about being a go-giver instead of a go-getter, I'm telling you, the opportunities, the doors that will soon open. It's mind-blowing because you cannot outgive God. I'm telling you, when you start giving, when you become a vessel of flowing, when things can flow through you, when you can be a blessing to other people, the natural byproduct is that more comes your way to continue to be a blessing. So that is number 8. Number 9, what you focus on grows. What you focus on grows. Now, y'all, I probably could have made this a list of 100 things, but these 10 things today are just my midday motivation for you, because if you're looking to make it count, make each day count, if you don't want to give up, these are the things that are going to get you there. So what you focus on grows, and you don't have to follow the crowd. What I've learned is that the more that I have a desire to do more, to be more, to show up more, to help people more, I'm learning that everyone doesn't have that same desire. So if you put down what's important to you to follow the crowd and run and do what they say you should be doing, you could miss an incredible opportunity. And I was having this conversation recently because, as we all know, if you're in the US, today is the day after the elections. So where some people would be telling me, you need to be watching the news 24/7, you need to be focused on this, you need to be focused on that. When it comes down to what's most important to me, I'm not knocking anyone that is a political affiliate, or maybe that's your vocation, that's what you do, but it's not in my top priority to spend hours and hours and hours and hours each day watching the news. It literally does not add value to my life. It takes value away from what I need to be showing up and doing. And if we don't have that understanding, we'll find ourselves focusing on what's important to everyone but us. So don't feel like you need to follow the crowd. You know more than anyone else what's important to you. There have been times where I remember, y'all, I was in a corner reading a book. I was on a laptop going through a training. I was learning how to code. I was learning how to do all these things. Meanwhile, everyone around me was watching whatever movie had just come out. People were like, Erica, what are you doing? We're watching this. We're watching that. This game show, this, that. I couldn't focus on those things. And it's because I had to get disciplined, because it's easy to put yourself down and fit in. I had to get disciplined, or I would never be able to walk into and inherit what needs to be inherited. And so finally, shout out to Chanel. I'm going to pull her up, who joined the inner circle. Yes. Okay. And I'll tell you all about that in a second. Finally, number 10, remember this: each day is a new beginning. Each day is a fresh start. If you can take the breath test that I do often, you still have breath in your body, then there's an opportunity for you to make it count. So understanding that if you approached each day as a new beginning, no matter what happened yesterday, no matter what happened the day before or last week, if you took each day as a new beginning to start fresh, your life, I promise you, your life will change. Your life will change. So that is my message for you all today. It went kind of quickly, but if you're watching live, do me a huge favor and drop an emoji, share a comment, clap it up for yourself and for everyone else. And I'm going to announce our winner for today's giveaway. And it is Darlene Hopkins Thorne, the most recent comment that popped up when I looked down. Darlene, congratulations. You just won the 21-day Focus Fast. It is a 21-day program to help you lay out your goals, line up with them, and make it happen. So congrats to Darlene. Thank you to everyone that watched live. You can join me weekdays across social media at Erica Empowers. And if you are interested in getting featured, if you're interested in launching platforms like this, turning your message into a movement. Get into the inner circle, and you can join that at increaseyourvoice.com. Increaseyourvoice.com. That is my private group where I work with women who are powerhouse visionaries to turn their message into a movement. That's the show for today. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. Darlene, if you can just message me or email info@ericlatrice.com with the best email for you, I will get you plugged into your new program. Thanks. Take care, everyone.
For more inspiration, visit us online at ericalatrice.com.